Hey everyone, Kim here, Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me for another Mystery Mystic reading. Marissa Carmichael, a 25-year-old mother of 5 from High Point, North Carolina, went out with friends to a lounge, then to an after party at an Airbnb, and was later dropped off at an Exxon station in Greensboro, North Carolina. She made a distress call to 911, reporting that the person who left her at the Exxon gas station took off with her cell phone and that she was lost. During that 3:46 a.m. 911 call, a male's voice could be heard asking her if she needed a ride, to which she replied yes to taking her home. Greensboro is approximately 25 to 30 minutes from her home in High Point. Around 5 a.m., she made several calls to her mother's and stepfather's phones. Her stepfather answered and handed the phone to her friend, who happened to hang out with Marissa that night, but later made her way back to Marissa's parents' home and went to bed. Later that morning, around 10 to 11 a.m., Marissa's mother became alarmed that Marissa had not returned home. Calls were coming from an unknown number, and a man told Marissa's mom that initially Marissa was sleeping. Then, on another call, he later said she went to the store. Marissa was reported missing, and no trace of her has been located since January 14th, 2024. 2 years ago this month. She would be 27 years old today, and her family still does not have any answers as to what happened. Police claim it's an active investigation, but to date, no suspects have been named. Was she kidnapped? If she was attacked or taken, did she know the perp? Or was this a stranger? Is this a case of misadventure? Was she trafficked? Did she run away from her life? Let's see what the cards have to say. We've got a lot to cover, friends. Let's get started. Okay, we're going to go ahead and shuffle, and we're going to see what Spirit is willing to share with us about Marissa Carmichael's disappearance. The first card we have up is coin. Okay. Umbrella. Oh my. Let's see. Girl. Saturn. Iceberg. Somebody blocking the money. Crow. Boy is sitting underneath girl, which is interesting. Girl, boy. Could be Marissa and a male, or it could be another female and a male involved or in the know about her disappearance. And I would like one more card, Spirit. But moth. Okay. All right, so let's get into it. The very first card that we have is coin. Okay. And this is the first card. So this sets the tone for what could be a motivation, what is behind the disappearance. So the keywords that come up with coin is wealth and prosperity, gaining a better position in life, or materialism. And so it could be that some money was exchanged, or, someone wanting some kind of monetary exchange as it relates to her disappearance, or as it relates to activities going on before she disappeared. So we have that. Now, interestingly enough, the coin sits over the iceberg card. Okay. Iceberg is about obstacles to collecting the coin. Someone feeling like there was an obstacle happening here. Someone putting up an obstacle to prevent coins being earned. Now, this card also has key meanings of hidden emotions. Problems may be bigger than you think, and it could be a physical limitation as well. So it could mean something symbolically like problems may be bigger than you think, or hidden emotions, or it could be actual limitations or physical obstacles that were in the way, okay, that got in the way. And I know when I do this opening oracle reading, sometimes it's like it doesn't quite make sense at first. And then we start to piece together what the cards are telling us, and then it's layered upon with the next deck and the next deck until we finally say, I see what's going on here. So now the next card we got sitting next to the coin is Umbrella. Umbrella is about protection from something beyond control, a sanctuary, maybe a bad omen. A bad omen for who? This girl. Somebody was supposed to be a sanctuary for her and ended up not being a sanctuary, allegedly. Someone was supposed to protect the coin, maybe this girl, and there was an obstacle to doing that. It didn't happen. It didn't go as planned. Umbrella is multiple meanings, I think, applying here. Sometimes the card can mean one thing or all things. So the umbrella card says protection from something beyond control. She's, like sometimes when a storm appears, right? It starts raining. You seek refuge under an umbrella. Something was going on. She sought refuge. She sought sanctuary is one of the key words here. And it also indicates it may be a bad omen. What's a bad omen? Bad news on the way. Especially over this crow card. Literally, they both share a common meaning in the guidebook, just so you know. So the umbrella, the last meaning for it is maybe a bad omen. The first meaning for the crow card in the guidebook is omen of bad news. Moving from place to place. Criminal activity. Now, I know that her family strongly believes that she was ushered into like a trafficking situation, and this card could speak to that. However, I think it's speaking to something happening before her disappearance or thereafter, but not necessarily being what ended up with her. And so what I mean by that with this crow card, it says moving from place to place. Could this situation that was supposed to protect her move her from one point to the next point to the next point to the next point? This boy that's sitting here. Criminal activity is one of the key phrases to this card. There's some kind of criminal activity either preceding or just after her disappearance. Okay. So now we have the girl card and sitting over the boy card. And it's also the girl is sitting next to the Saturn and kitty corner to the moth. So the girl it can represent a female. It can certainly represent Marissa and or another female in the know or is involved in her disappearance. The boy can represent someone who was tasked with moving her from place to place. Maybe he has engaged in criminal activity in his past or in his present day, like 2027. I'm recording this reading as of, it's midnight. What is it? It's 12:30 in the morning, a.m. on January 19, 2026. So there's this boy who's engaging in criminal activity either before, during, and after. There's a boy that's in the know or responsible for maybe perhaps moving her from place to place. Not pleased with her being an obstacle, I suppose, blocking a coin. But we have a boy, a girl and a boy. Girl and a boy. Now, very important here, this next card. This card comes up in a lot of these types of readings that I do when there could be foul play involved. The Saturn card has the key meanings adversity, hardships, male sexuality or dominance, authority and control. It is sitting kitty corner to the boy card. It is sitting next to the girl. She was subjected to adversity and hardships, male sexuality or dominance, authority and control. Okay? And it led to this moth situation. Moths are about transformation, right? Going from one state of being to another. And according to the guidebook has the key meanings: transformation, being hopelessly attracted to something, a clingy person. So this boy could be hopelessly attracted to her, or to crime, a life of crime, or both. Since he's in close proximity to this, like he's hopelessly romanticizing criminality. He's hopelessly attracted. You know how they say a moth to a flame, a clingy person, leading to some sort of dominance and control over her, male dominance, it says, leading to a transformation. And I'm so sorry. You know, we always can hold out hope that a missing person is still with us, right? But I have to say this card is about some sort of transition, some sort of transformation, or it could just be describing what this boy is doing. Okay, I'm a card reader, so I give you the different interpretations, and then we look at all the cards in totality to see where it's leaning, right? But the moth card, you know, it's worrying. It's worrying because we have the Saturn card, so the Saturn with its male sexuality or dominance, leading to someone's transformation. We have this male who is, you know, perhaps engaged in some sort of criminal activity. Yeah, that's what I've got so far. Okay. I'll be back. I'm going to grab another deck. Okay, so we're going to work with the Divine Shadow Self Oracle. This was the Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle. We're looking at the shadow aspects of those who are involved, whether it's the missing person, Marissa. We have coercion, whether it is the perp. I am leaning towards there being foul play, you know. We have here boredom, but not just foul play, that foul play that has led to something happening to her, causing a transition. We have explosive, antisocial, One more, Spirit. That's 2 more. I want 1 more, please. Drained, oh dear. Okay. And another thing I am curious about is, does she know this person? I think I mentioned that in the intro. Like, is this a stranger, or someone she knows, someone she's just acquainted with, or someone she has a personal relationship with? So it'll be interesting to see what the other oracle cards have to say. We have here coercion, boredom, explosive, antisocial, doubtful, and drained. Coercion, someone being coerced to do something, someone being coerced to secrecy, someone being coerced to be complicit in moving her from place to place, or creating some sort of obstacle that caused her to need to be moved from place to place. This guy here. What's interesting here is this doubtful card. My eye was drawn right to it when it came up. And I think it's because there could be family members, loved ones, friends who are doubtful of this person's involvement, or doubtful of their innocence. But I think their involvement, this perp, and in fact, the perp is involved, heavily involved, responsible for her disappearance. But someone holds doubts about their involvement. Now, I suppose doubtful could be someone holds doubts against their innocence, but I'm thinking it's the opposite. We have here coercion and boredom and explosive. Boredom, I mean, someone being bored. She could have been appearing to be bored, and that's how she got tangled into the situation with this male. This male could come across as being bored, or energy of just boredom. You know how there's some people who are like, I'm bored. You remember growing up with people like that, like they're always bored. They'll say it all the time. It's really weird too when you deal with it with adults. They're antsy, they're bored. You know what I mean. So it could be a personality trait that this person has, that people who are in the know or close to the perp, or close to Marissa, if she knows the perp, knows this is a quality, something that this person is always saying or observing. Okay. Coercion, though, is worrisome. Either she could have been coerced, or someone could have been coerced to be a part of this whole situation. She could have been faced with an explosive temper, explosive situation. I would say explosive temper, explosive situation, something that was like a pressure keg, like it was getting ready to blow, and it finally blew up and resulted in her disappearance, and in what has come to pass. We have here antisocial. Someone in the know, could be a witness, could be someone who may hold critical information. It's being very antisocial. Could be a female, could be a male. Maybe this isn't. So sometimes the cards can mean multiple people. Like if we get some oracle cards that say 2 or more people involved, this girl card could mean another female, or this boy could be another male, right? But it could be multiple people. So it could be that someone is antisocial. It could be also that the person who is responsible for what was done to her is also antisocial, have some antisocial traits, psychopathy that's very worrisome. But they seem, these are also kind of the people that they may be antisocial. It's like a spectrum with antisocial people. Either they blend in well, with society, or they, sometimes pull back. They're being antisocial. So it could be a spectrum. It could be someone who is, moment to moment is antisocial, or maybe every blue moon, and then there's someone who's always antisocial, and then there's the traits of like someone who shouldn't be around other human beings. You see what I'm saying? So antisocial has a multitude of meanings that it could be. We talked about doubtful and drained. She could have been drained from this explosive situation, someone literally draining her. That's kind of horrifying to think about. Drained, though, could just be metaphoric, like Marissa was drained from a situation, or someone in the know or involved is drained after this whole explosive episode that led to her going missing. And so now, you know how like after you've been in a really big fight, you've been fighting, you're drained after that. You're tired, you're winded. Was there someone who was winded and drained and hiding out, being antisocial for the days and weeks following her disappearance? Drained. But I get a sense this is also speaking to her. She may have known this person and she was tired and she was drained from the situation. Okay, that's what I got. All right, let's move on to the next deck. Okay, because I feel like there is an element of foul play and that she just didn't go and stumble off, somewhere, I'm going to pull from this deck. The first card we got is money may be involved. That goes with this coin card. And I don't know how that translates or what that could mean about money, some kind of dealings, promises, a job to do. Victim had a history with the perp, and I believe that. Strange phenomena involved. I got chills with that one. We'll do one more. Yeah, spirit. Okay. Okay, so we got the money. Money may be involved. Victim had a history. Strange phenomenon. Sometimes strange phenomenon could be certain things like, her whole night, it just seems like a tragic misfortune after the next. So it could be just that it's speaking to, but it could be also some strange phenomenon that's involved with her mysterious disappearance. I can't even speak to what that strange phenomenon could be at this point. It also could be that there could be some paranormal influences from her that leads us to the answers of what happened to her down the line. So it could be something like that. But strange phenomena involved is interesting to me. Could it have been some kind of sacrificial thing that was going on that led to her disappearance? The perp has behavioral patterns of an S killer. Okay. So this is someone that goes with that antisocial card that I was talking about earlier. How the antisocial could sometimes be like 1 minute, oh, you're antisocial for the day. You don't feel like being bothered by anybody. And we might even jokingly say, I'm being antisocial. And then there's the antisocial like this card. All right. And then lastly, the victim or victim's family was familiar with the perp. Okay. So based on what I'm picking up on here, this is not a stranger situation. Now, I could be wrong, and I don't have a problem with being wrong. I don't have a problem with being wrong about this moth card, interpreting that she's made a transition. I don't mind being wrong about whether or not this perp knows her family or vice versa, or she knows them. But we've got two different cards that say the victim had a history with the perp and that the victim or victim's family was familiar with them. Okay. And that something about money is involved. How that shows up or how that plays out, I'm not sure yet. And I'm not going to go around guessing. So we'll leave it at that. I'm going to take a picture of these cards, move them to the side, and we're going to move on to the next deck. So we're going to work with my Chunky Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle deck. It's 180 cards at this point. At the time of this recording, I might be adding to it, but I shuffle it in sections, right? So we're gonna see what comes up. Dark energies. Now that's interesting because earlier we got the strange phenomenon card, which I found interesting. You'll have to let me know what you think the dark energies and the strange phenomenon cards are talking about. We have sun, somebody's son, or maybe she has young children, so it wouldn't be her son, but it could be someone associated with her son, allegedly. Could be something like that. Hold on, let me... Interesting. Blackmail or extortion. Someone could be being blackmailed or extorted as it relates to her disappearance and what happened to her. Okay. Collapse or ruin. Burial or grave. Bones. Con man or fraud. Someone's a con man or a fraud. Accident. Okay. DNA evidence. Corruption. Okay. Vehicle or transportation. That makes sense with that crow card we got earlier. Okay. Friends or associates. Okay, so we're getting a sense that there's people, not just a person, but people in the know. Okay. I think we have room for one more row. Computer data, right? Parent. Okay. I'm going to scoot the tripod down in a moment. Let's get two more cards. We're now one. Organized crime or gang. All right. Last card. Set these off to the side. Okay, what is it? Accusations. Okay, this is going to be an interesting one, I'll tell you what. All right, so we talked a little bit about the dark energies card, and that's because of the strange phenomenon card. So dark energies can sometimes literally be dark magic or, black magic. But oftentimes, a lot of times people don't really know how or engage in black magic, but it could be somebody wishing ill on her. And sometimes with our minds and the thoughts that we carry each day and the hatred that we have for someone, it can hit us like what a curse would hit us like, because somebody is basically damning us with their thoughts. So that could be what this card is speaking to. It's the very first card, and it's speaking to me because of that strange phenomenon card that we got right here. Next up, we have son. We also down here have parent. We have a Looks like, I didn't even realize when I made this deck, they look like they're related, all of them. So we have here son, somebody's son. That goes with that boy card over here that we've got. Someone's in the know, or it could be a relation to her by way of son, allegedly. Okay, all alleged. We're just, going through what the possibilities are of what the son could be. Somebody's son, someone has a son, someone's a father, a parent. So there's that as well. Next up, we have blackmail or extortion. Someone being blackmailed or extorted, or someone was blackmailing her or extorting her, or vice versa. They felt like she was doing that towards them. Okay. Somebody, it may be a witness. A witness, that reminds me of the coercion card. A witness could be being blackmailed or extorted. That's why there hasn't been much movement in the case as far as we can tell. We have collapse or ruin. Somebody was experiencing a collapse or ruin before she disappeared or after she disappeared. Maybe she was near collapse or ruin, or maybe someone wanted that for her, or maybe someone, a key witness, or the perp themselves are now or will be very soon experiencing some kind of tumultuous upheaval times in their life. And it'll be noticeable to others, like, wow, your life is really falling apart. And some people might think that it has something to do with, just life in general, or if they're really friends or close or very close to Marissa, they just think that they're broken up over her being missing. But no, it's something deeper. Usually, if you follow true crime cases, you might hear of this phenomenon when a perp has committed the crime, they've taken someone's life, and they get away with it for a while, but their life starts to fall apart. That's what I'm picking up here. That could be another clue for those who are close to this situation to pay attention to. Okay. We have burial or grave. Now this is upsetting, I know, because it can indicate a person being buried. However, it could also be key evidence that's buried. It could be somebody trying to hide secrets, since it's next to the bones card. But if we're talking about physicality wise, it could be someone, a shallow grave, someone burying something, but it could be metaphorical about where they bury the bones at, the secrets. Somebody's holding secrets. It could be both. But it does concern me because we have the moth card earlier I was talking to you all about. We have here con man or fraud. Somebody who is presenting one way but really is another. Someone who's committed fraud in their past. Someone who will commit fraud in the future. Someone who really, is a con man. Whether people know it to be true or they don't know it yet. And it's coming to light. Now, with that's interesting to me. Now, it could be her, it could be, it doesn't necessarily have to be surrounding just her disappearance. It could just be clues about things, or it could just be something Spirit is picking up, because the next card we have is accident. Now, this card next to the accident card could represent a few things. Now, the accident could be somebody wanting to make it seem like once the truth finally comes out about what happened to Marissa, they're going to try to lay it upon it as, it was an accident. What happened to her? What could it be? Accidental OD? Could it be an accident that she fell? Could it be an accident that she somehow hurt herself? Something along those lines, right? Could be something like that. But also, you all know not everyone who watches my videos know I have an extensive past in injury claims handling, in fatality claims handling, accidents. So when you run someone's social security number, and we have huge databases that can look at past claim activity. Okay, someone who may have had a history of slip and fall claims, workers' comp claims, and it just doesn't mean necessarily anything this or that. Just Spirit just picking up on this. It could be, important. It could be not. But someone who has a history of auto accidents with injury, or just there may be accident prone. This could be accident prone. It could be a clue about that. But just giving you some different ways at which to interpret this card. Some of you have been buying this deck. And the reason why I go into demonstrating various different key meanings is because if you want to do a reading such as like what I'm doing here, you can then explore all these different possibilities of what it could be. And you look at the cards that are corresponding around it, like I did with this con man or fraud and accident. It could be also someone who may have thought about, contemplated, or has committed insurance fraud, allegedly. Okay? We have here DNA evidence is of importance, as is computer data evidence. Computers can represent actual laptops or desktops. It could represent the computers on our phones. Data is what Spirit keeps honing in on. Information coming through. Needing to confiscate people's phones because they are little computers, right? Or actual computers, or later down the line needing to do that. Needing to, look at a parent's phone records or computer records, or, pulling the information off of a computer. Doesn't necessarily mean a parent is involved. It also could mean that a parent of hers could maybe even know who this person is. They could know. Not that her parents involved or anything like that, but the parent of Marissa allegedly could know. And maybe they don't really know yet, but they will, or maybe they do know this person, but they don't think that this person is involved. Something along those lines. Or it could just simply be that it's someone who has a child or children that is in the know or involved. You see all the ways that you can interpret this parent card. We have corruption. There's some kind of corruption happening here. When I see there's con man and fraud, so yes, you can have, you can have one or two people, 3, 4 people committing a fraud or con. But with corruption, it feels like it could be something bigger than that. It could be something more, how else do I put it? Like someone who's corrupt. Secrets about some corruption that maybe she knows. Maybe she was going to block some coins, or remember earlier I said we have the coins in iceberg. It could be that Marissa, maybe she's a parent. She held some sort of information, secrets with this bones card next to the burial over corruption. She knows about something being corrupted or someone being corrupted. DNA evidence is of importance in this case. Vehicle transportation, yes, she was moved. She didn't go walking off. No, I could be wrong, but she was moved from point A to point B to point C. We know that she caught a ride with someone. And I know a lot of people suspect the person that she caught a ride with. It's all alleged. It could be that person, but it could be someone else. Someone that she is acquainted with. Why? Because the card I have is friends and associates sitting next to the vehicle transportation. Like she could have encountered someone even after the ride that she got from someone else. Friends and associates could know something in the know about what happened to her, keeping it hush hush, or it could just simply say no, she knew this person. And that goes with the cards we got earlier that I picked up on. But the victim had a history with the perp, and then the victim or victim's family was familiar with the perp. And it can represent also multiple people with these people depicted here. We have organized crime or gang activity involved, or somehow surrounding this situation. We'll have to see how this plays out. I'm not quite sure. I only know her case topically. Like, I remember when she first went missing, and I kept hoping, like, oh, they're going to surely find her. And that's what a lot of missing persons cases, that's how it starts for me. I don't usually like to just jump right in and do a missing persons case. I like to wait and see what happens, because oftentimes people are found. But it is dragged on for 2 years, I'm afraid. And yeah, it's not, it doesn't look good when it drags on this long. So I'm not quite sure of what this card could mean. It could mean an organization element is involved with her disappearance, or maybe someone affiliated with a gang or organized crime. We also have accusations. Could be accusations against a crime or a family, or against a gang or organized crime syndicate. Or it could be someone accusing friends and associates, since the accusations card is sitting underneath the friends and associates cards. Okay. I think I have time for one more deck, and we'll stop there, I think. I'll be right back. I'm going to take a picture of these cards and move them out the way. So I'm going to work with the Defining Characteristics Oracle. Somebody with crooked teeth, something about their teeth. Someone who has expensive taste. It could be muscular, someone who has expensive taste. And what I mean by expensive taste, like maybe they wear the best tennis shoes, best clothes, they dress up. What do they say? They clean up nicely. Someone with crooked teeth, something about their teeth, we'll just say. See, her teeth is a little crooked and overlapping. Could be overlapping teeth or crooked teeth. Something about their teeth stands out. They're always got the nicest shoes on, nicest, like, if clothes, like jerseys, stuff like that. Expensive taste. Now, maybe they do wear suits. I don't know, but I don't get that sense. I just get a sense that Spirit keeps saying something about really nice tennis shoes collection, expensive, or wants the finer things but can't maybe afford it. Hence why this money, this coin and money maybe involved cards are in the mix. We have here muscular. I mean, I suppose there could be a woman who's muscular, but I think this is really just pushing that we're dealing with a man, here, not some vengeful woman who wants to get back at her. And then devious. He is quite devious. He's antisocial. Remember? We got that. He's got qualities like SK qualities. This person. Very noticeably muscular or fit. His build is, he's not overweight. We have new connection. Okay. Long term. I wonder what that could mean. Goat. And Libras in their chart. All right. Stop there. So new connection and long term can be kind of confusing. It could be a new connection that with somebody who was going to be a long-term partner, newish to her, new to her love life, new to her life, but someone who wanted to be long-term with her, or she wanted to be long-term with them, since we've got new connection and long-term. New doesn't necessarily, I suppose, let me not say that, because it could mean a brand new connection with somebody who wants a long-term relationship. Or it could be her newest long-term connection, newest long-term friendship, newest long-term friend. Like, for example, if you, or let's use me for example. So I have children from a prior relationship, and that relationship is old. It is 29 years old. And then my newest relationship that I'm in, I've had several in between there, but my newest relationship would probably be maybe 15 years old. But it's the newest one I have, and it's a long-term relationship. Does that make sense? Or it could be just straight up brand spanking new connection, but nevertheless someone she's acquainted with and know. Okay, and she's in the know with this person. We have here goat. Now this is Chinese astrology. It could be this person is, the goat for astrology, Chinese astrology. But there's some key years here I like to mention. We have here 1991, 2003, 2015, and 2027. 2027 stands out. Maybe that's when we finally get some answers or movement. Hopefully, we hope, something of significance happening in that year. Then we have here some qualities. We have tasteful, crafty, that's interesting, warm, elegant, charming, intuitive, sensitive, empathic, and calm. Okay. Elegant stands out, but that's only because I'm looking at the expensive taste card. Libra, they could have Libra heavily in their chart, or it's sun, moon, or rising. Libra in their sun, moon, or rising. Air energy. Or sometimes I get this card and it's of significance here. This time frame of September 23rd to October 22nd. It could be an air sign, maybe not just exclusively Libra. The strengths of this particular the main perp who's responsible is sociable, idealistic, diplomatic. Weaknesses, indecisive, gullible, and resentful. Resentful stands out. This person harbors a grudge and is devious. It'll come out how devious once the truth starts to come out. And thankfully, law enforcement said that this is an active case. Once the truth starts to come out about this person, you'll be like, yeah, he is for sure devious. And there's some people who just do a crime of passion, but there's a level of crime of like, wow, you did all that. You are the devil. Okay. All right. I'm going to pause here. We're going to do one more deck. I'll be right back. All right. We're at the last deck that we're going to use tonight. So we have here the Divine Crime Oracle. And I'm had to clear some space, moving out my Secrets Revealed Oracle, but I set the cards aside in case I need to refer back to them. Spirit, what do you want to reveal? What can you reveal to us? We have accomplice, female suspect. Okay. I suspected that. Someone accomplice, someone, sometimes that could represent accessory after the fact, too. We have solved, that jumped off to the side, says solved or evidence. So I hope this, gives us some hope here about the situation. Okay. I'm not quite sure because I don't think her family got any ransom notes or anything like that. Maybe she was held for a time, given the oppression that her family was being called. So it could be something along those lines, and that could be why we got that devious card, like the lengths that the perp went to. So we have held at ransom. I don't think that her mom or loved ones got any calls. I'm not sure, though. But I think it could be that the victim or Marissa could have thought that someone was reaching out and they weren't. that they gave her that impression. Law enforcement, police intervention. Okay. Thank you for hanging in there with me. Look. Okay. Death came up. Accident came up again. We have another accident card. Let me see if I can find in this one. Look. Falling down. Falling down. Isn't that interesting? Okay. And that death card is concerning. But the death card is sitting underneath accomplice female suspect. So sometimes it could mean that that the accomplice could face some sort of death or impending death in their life themselves, God forbid, or someone close to them. Okay. So yes, it could very well speak to our missing person, but it could also, since it's sitting underneath a person, represent someone who later on dies. But that's not ideal either. We have betrayal. 2 to 4 people, small intimate group. So I did wonder about that. That goes with some of the other cards we got earlier with My Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle. But there's a main male perp, right? And then there is someone who helped. Spring is of significance. She went missing January 14th. So it would be maybe this spring, or maybe the spring of 2027, or springtime. There's significant movement or something happening in last spring that brought law enforcement a little closer, but we don't know. Or maybe there's a claim associated with this person. Slip and fall, accident. Okay, we have misadventure or lost. Okay. Can't rule that out, I suppose, since she's missing. But spring could be like when a claim was filed in the past, 60 to 110 kilometers. We also got the 500 to 1,000 kilometers. We have internet messaging, social media. We have another mileage card, 15 to 35 kilometers. When we get multiple, I'll explain to you in a moment what I think that means. Look, kidnapped, abduction. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm taken into a vehicle. I moved about. Travel. Oh my goodness. Look at that. That goes with that traveling transportation card I got in my Secrets Revealed Oracle deck. All right. I think we have room for one more. Changed appearance, new hairstyle, different clothing, makeup, or facial hair. I'll scoot the tripod down in a moment. 3 more, Spirit. Van. Oh, look, they still came out. That's so interesting. Mountains. I don't know what the landscape is like in that part of North Carolina, so I don't know. And then we have beach, maybe near water, soft ground is when I see the sandy beach. So let me scoot the tripod down, and we're going to go through these one by one, 2 by 1, you know what I mean. So we have here the accomplice female suspect. So a woman in the know, I suppose, or it could just simply be a male accomplice. But I'm getting the sense that there is a woman who has key information, if not helped the perp wittingly, not just unwittingly. Sometimes a card will come up where it'll be like, oh, I can tell if somebody helped, and they didn't know that they were really helping in the commission of a crime. But in this case, I feel like I feel like this person may know. We have here solved and evidence. That is good news, right? That is good news. We have here law enforcement, police intervention, and we have this held at ransom card. I talked about that at length already, about how I feel like they gave her the impression, Marissa, that somebody reached out to her family for money, but that didn't actually happen. And maybe law enforcement having some inside information about that, or will come to have inside information about that. The death card is upsetting, I know, but it could mean, yes, it could mean her transitioning on. Here's the thing, friends. From what I gathered, there's been no social media activity for Marissa, and they said that she used her social media daily. So there's been no activity. There's been no hits on her social security number. I don't know about her bank records, but I haven't heard anything. So when you have something like that, yes, it could mean somebody going and starting their life over. Or sure, they could be trafficked and don't have access to those things. But I don't know. I don't know. I also don't get a sense that she would run away from her kids. Some people I've seen speculate that she ran away because life was getting too tough for her. I don't think so. I don't intuitively pick up on that at all. I do feel like she definitely was met with foul play. This accident card I've talked a lot about the accident card in the deck I made, the Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle, and it could just really harping on that somebody is will try later on as a defense that something accidental happened to her, when in fact I don't sense is the case. Accidental death is something that they may harp on. So just hopefully we prepare for that. And it also, again, just could speak to that claims activity I was talking to you all about. 500 to 1,000 kilometers. We've got different mileage cards. So sometimes this could mean that a main person involved could have moved or is desiring to move far away. Or maybe this accomplice person is prepared or has moved or has lived in the past or will live in the future 500 to 1,000 kilometers away. You'll have to look up what that is in miles. I don't know roughly. And then when I get these cards, this tells me that people who might be in the know. So they could have traveled 15 to 35 kilometers one way to get, to be in her area. Or to, take her from one point to another point, and then round trip 60 to 110 kilometers as they go around trying to deal with the crime at hand. Hence the crow card we got earlier. Okay. Or it can mean multiple people who have lived in various distances from Greensboro, for example. So it could mean that as well. But oftentimes it can mean like round trip, especially when we've got, you got these numbers here. So it could be like they kept making multiple trips to go do something with evidence, for example. Internet messaging and social media, and 2 to 4 people, small intimate group. Oh, I almost skipped a card. I'm hopping around. Let me not do that. Let me go follow my path. We have betrayal. She was betrayed. Or someone is going to feel betrayed by her. Or betrayed led to her, what happened to her. Or someone feeling like she betrayed them. Now, this also could simply be about, since it's sitting underneath the police intervention card. So when she made that 911 call at the phone booth, it took, I think, 40 minutes, I believe, for law enforcement to arrive. And by that point, she was gone. She got a ride and left. And so someone could have, betrayed her. Law enforcement says police intervention could have betrayed her by taking too long. So it could be something like that. But I feel like this is something personal. Someone feeling betrayed by her is what I keep hearing Spirit say. Yes, someone betrayed her ultimately, but someone feeling betrayed by her. And it led to an explosive situation. 2 to 4 people, small intimate group. We did get cards. Earlier I talked about the con man and fraud cards. The friends and associates card comes to mind. The gang card. So there's multiple people in the know about what happened to her. 2 to 4 people. Okay. Spring is of significance. Misadventure or loss. Again, this could be just another defense. Like, oh, she was lost. And then she had an accidental death. The problem is, as time goes on, it can be very difficult to identify a COD, a TOD, manner of death. It can be very difficult to determine. So if somebody says, "Oh, well, she was the cause of her death. It was an accidental death, and it was due to misadventure or her getting lost." That's how she got where she got. But it's like, no. But that could be part of what it comes about. She just literally, a lot of people said, it's like, it seems like she just vanished. Internet messaging, social media, looking at a small intimate group and checking their, patterns, inbox, DMs, what was being said on posts. Also her social media in the days and weeks and even months leading up to her disappearance. We have here kidnapped and abduction and travel. We also have that travel and transportation card I showed you earlier. So they're saying here she was kidnapped, abducted. It wasn't like, oh, somebody grabbed her, dragged her into the forest, and then did whatever they did to her and left her there. They put her in her vehicle and moved her, point A to point B to point C, then back again to get rid of whatever evidence that was left behind when whatever happened, is what Spirit is saying. The main perp or an accomplice has changed their appearance. They have a new hairstyle now, wears different kind of clothing, changed the makeup or no longer wears makeup or wears makeup now when they didn't before. Facial hair, either they had facial hair and now they cut it off or they grew it out. Van, again, just speaks to some kind of transportation. Maybe someone, I don't know, living out of their van. I don't know what this could mean. Other than movement, evidence found in a van, DNA evidence. Mountains and beach. Like I said, this could also speak to how far they may have traveled to do what they need to do to get her away from the area, the Exxon station. So, I don't know. I'll have to look and see. In mountains, I get it. I don't know about mountain ranges in North Carolina, but maybe tall hills nearby and somewhere near a body of water that has soft, like soft dirt, like sand, but soft dirt is what Spirit is saying here to me. Whew. This is a doozy. I will at some point, I think I'm going to need to do a tarot reading because there are some key players that have emerged over the years from sleuthers who have researched her case. And so I made notes. I don't know where I put those notes at. I thought I made notes. I hope I kept them. But I made notes of the key people. I wrote them down. Hope I saved them. And I may be doing a tarot reading to inquire a bit more about them. And of course, it'll all be alleged. All of this is alleged, by the way. They are my intuitive hunches, my card interpretations. So take it with a grain of salt. And yeah, I pray that Marissa is found. I feel so terrible for her loved ones, her mom, her sister, her children especially. Oh my goodness, her children are without their mom. I can't even imagine what that would be like as a child. Just like one moment your mom is there and next you haven't seen her in a couple of years. It's just heartbreaking. So we pray for her to be found and to be brought home to her family. We pray for this to happen swiftly, right? All right, friends, do me a favor on your way out. Please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, especially with this case. This case is a little older, so I don't know how much attention is still on it, but we want to raise Marissa's name up. We want to say her name, keep it in the news cycles so law enforcement feels the pressure to get this thing moving and solved. All right, friends, you all take very good care of yourselves, okay? Bye for now.